Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of You Get What You Get. I'm Rickey Hampton with my great friends, McDougal and Tim Turner, coming to you on a special night, Thursday night edition of You Get What You Get. Hope everybody's had a good week as we're headed towards the weekend. Got a real good show coming up. We're going to be joined by fabulous sports writer and now author, Kim Davis, Houston-based journalist that Tim, she does it all in terms of the world of sports.
She has. She's done everything in the Houston market. Longtime journalist, well respected there. She knows that city's teams and all the players inside and out. She's had an illustrious career, and we want to hear from her because now she is, as Tree said, an author. I'm just glad that we're here on time. Thank you, Tree. And we're able to keep rolling forward.
We were just having such a great time having conversations.
We really were, man. We really were. Some of the stuff I want to save for Kim as she gets to us. So why don't we go straight to the All-Star game the other night, guys, which was really entertaining. Throw away the Tiger representatives going over 8, and Mize and Scuba getting lit up. I mean, it was a terrible night for Detroit.
Yeah. Well, he did get a break. He got the first ever pitcher's challenge straight.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Hey, what do you think about that? And explain that to our viewers out there. And by the way, welcome everybody out there watching.
What they're doing is now they're trying to take more and more of the human element out of the game. If a pitcher or a catcher thinks that the pitch was a strike, they can challenge it. And I forget punitive what the penalty is for getting it wrong, but I only saw it done once during the game. And Scooble, pitcher for the Tigers, said his pitch was a strike, and they went back and they showed it in the box. It actually was a strike at the end of the inning. So, it was a successful challenge, but you got to let guys miss calls. I need that human element. I keep thinking of your boy, Albuquerque, who lost a no-hitter based on a bad call at first base.
In Detroit, yeah.
It's part of lore, part of history. I remember seeing that umpire meeting the kid and crying because he knows he blew the call. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it not too long ago, and it just blew me away that they actually got a chance to meet each other, and he was really despondent over blowing the call and blowing the no-hitter.
So you're not a fan of the challenge part, and is that what I heard? When they get the challenge?
I'm not a fan of any of the challenges. I mean, if the call is bad, it's bad.
In any other sports?
In any of the sports, I don't think it's you just allow the human element to take over. More times than not, it's gonna be wrong. But that's just part of the history. I know when the Braves played Minnesota in the World Series, Ron Gant was on first base, and Ken Herbeck took a pickoff throw and lifted Ron Gant's leg off the bag and tagged him, and the umpire called him out. You can't do that, but it's part of the Twins won in 7. They won the World Series in 7 games. There's some bad football calls you'll see along the way. NBA calls you'll see, like Kevin Durant. He would have probably gotten the 3-pointer had they not had instant replay where they showed his toe on the line. That kind of thing. I mean,
and think about that. He makes that shot. They beat Milwaukee.
They do.
And Milwaukee wins that series, goes on to win the title.
Right. So,
and doesn't that slow down the game as well?
Sometimes it's football. It really does because it takes them forever to get stuff right. And sometimes in the NBA, because it's like they have to get the time right when the infraction was called. Mm-hmm. I wonder with the NFL, they're going to start doing it eventually. They're going to put a chip in the football where so you'll be able to get when they get when a first down is made electronically, you'll be able to tell, as opposed to them bringing the chains out and stretching the chains. You know, it could be somebody's chains can be tighter than the other one.
So what happened to the guys' jobs who were
The
the
chain gang.
guys?
Chain
Guys.
gang
Yeah. Did they get other positions, or are they just like out of gigs?
out of a job, just like everybody. What happened to the guys that used to run the livery stables back before cars? they're no longer working.
How about the guys that used to run the elevator?
Yeah, elevator dudes.
Are the guys who used to pump gas at the gas station?
Operators when you make phone calls.
Yeah.
I
What do they do?
appreciate the full service gas.
Oh yeah, I miss
Actually,
that.
it's still a couple stations around here that do it.
I haven't seen it in Atlanta or Savannah. So
I bet there's someone out there still doing that.
and now AI is coming for your jobs.
But you know what, Trey? All in all, these guys are really, really good, and they get a lot of stuff right.
They get it right. I mean, you wouldn't even know most of the guys' names. You only know the names of the guys who get it wrong,
Right.
and they shouldn't be like that. But these people, the best of the best, work the playoffs and work these different sports, championship series because they are so good. It's done on merit and not just a rotation thing. And you really can appreciate great umpiring. I was a little league umpire for like 2 games, and I was trash. I mean, the coaches on both teams hated me. So yeah. So here we are at Truist Park, or it is sometimes called White Flight Field.
Only by you or
This game,
Others.
the baseball All-Star game is the best All-Star game there is. The NBA is a joke. The NFL,
they don't even care.
they just
Here
get
they put up an effort, but nonetheless, it means nothing. But I fell asleep on it, but woke up just in time to watch the American League tie the game, so they'd have a hit off or whatever they called it, swing off.
A home run. Yeah. In fact,
was this the first time they did a swing off?
That's the first time they've ever done it.
That's what I
It was
thought.
outstanding.
We swinging.
3 swings, teams, alternate teams with the most home runs on the All-Star game. And okay, we can get to the action now.
Yeah, there was a controversy with this where I guess some of the higher profile players had already dressed and left the stadium.
Oh.
Oh,
So
wow.
these managers were left with what they had to pull 3 players on each side to participate in this. And that guy Rooker was this Jeff Passan was making light of the situation, thinking that this guy and some others shouldn't have been part of it. I think that's how it was going, how it went. And this dude had to clap back, saying like, Jeff, I'm not good enough for you, that kind of thing. It was some back and forth on the intranet there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see what they're talking about. If you have Aaron Judge and a couple other people who are known for their hitting, and you don't have some of these other guys who aren't.
That's okay, but he got the job done.
Yeah, and it was fun, man. It was
exciting to me. As much as I hate gimmicky stuff, I think that was better than ending it in a tie like they did in Milwaukee several years ago.
That sounds
and
horrible.
you could see the players were into it.
Yeah. And this cat here, Kyle Schwarber, he's going to be a great beer league softball home run hitter when he gets out of baseball. But right now, and the deal is they only get 3 swings. They get 3 swings, and he hit home runs on all 3 and propelled the National League to a 4-3 win. And he was the game MVP.
Wow, that's cool.
Right there. Yeah.
And he's a good guy, too. And just beyond being a good baseball player.
Even though he plays for the wrong thing. Even though he plays for your rival.
Even though he plays for the rival, I root for 2 people on the Phillies, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. Everybody hates Harper, but they don't know they don't know his life has not been no crystal staircase in terms of baseball, because he's always been the best player, and he's always played with older players, and they always hated him. They always resented him, but he was always the best guy. And another year we had him at Aflac All-American. All the players there hated him as well because he was the youngest cat in there, and he was the better player of all of them.
Yeah.
So, folks, the players were sniping about that throughout the week. They just couldn't stand it, but dude could ball. So
It's weird.
You're watching.
I look for somebody who's like, they just don't understand, that kind of hate you get all the time because you're talented. It's not hate because you're a jerk. He was talented, just a talented kid. Always has been.
Isn't the object to win? So they don't care about that. They just want to be.
No. There's some guys, I think it wasn't Garrett Cole, but there's some people, some pitchers who've made the major league who were saying if they ever got an opportunity to drill them, they would. This is when they were in high school saying, when I get up there, I will drill them, that kind of stuff. So,
Wow. Hey, Tim, check on our guests.
I will do that.
And as I'm going to move up. We're going to go. We got the All-Star game in. All this good stuff going on. NFL training camp has opened up. Here in Detroit, they had their first little get-together today. The rookies are in. The veterans will be, I think vets are reporting tomorrow here in Detroit. And they'll be everywhere probably by the end of reporting everywhere by the end of the weekend. The Lions are in the Hall of Fame game this year over in Canton. So they get in a few days early. But it is, I think I saw today, 49 days from week one of the NFL. So that means it's probably 42 days from, maybe 42 days from college football starting.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's some second rounders.
Excited because I'm always excited for football.
Second rounders haven't signed yet, but it's football season here in the big city because I think the SEC media days are in Atlanta this week. It's been one thing after the next. We had the Beyonce concert, the same as the world, same time as the World Series, but the All-Star game and SEC media days. So it was a very busy last few days. And Kim is trying to join us. She signed on to an old link and was waiting for us to come on.
Oh,
Okay.
So she should be with us shortly.
okay.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna send her another one just in case.
Well,
because she should have been on with the invitation that you guys got. But
okay.
but just in case, I will send her another one. Here's here.
But yeah, it's been a busy couple of days. We've had a lot of
And can you tell
a
Tim?
lot of Western gear in town, Warren.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Atlanta's such a booming city. Can you tell when there's Kim right here, when other stuff is coming in, like the All-Star game?
Oh, heck yes.
Take a
You
look.
could with the All-Star game, you could, but like I'm out at the airport and I saw nobody at all coming through there because across the airfield is private jets, and that's what everybody was rolling with.
And I couldn't find a hotel.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Well,
Hey,
that's how our next guest get around. I think she has a private jet. She does a book tour on. It's coming, Kim.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you do the honors here to introduce our illustrious guest.
Oh my goodness, where do we start? Kim Davis, sports media star in Houston extraordinaire. Everybody knows her in Houston. Everybody should know her in Houston because she's done it all with print, television, radio, now an author. And she's an athlete as well. So, hey, all in one package there. Now we're going to get up there and talk to Kim and talk with her about her new book, because I see here it says Chalk Talk, host, and does that say author?
It says Arthur. I'm trying to say that more, you know.
As well, you should. Congratulations.
So I got this
My
off
love
of
language. It's
Amazon, and you get it everywhere. Sports. My love language is complicated by Kim Y. Davis. Always good having you on, my sister.
Thank you. I always appreciate you guys having me. I'm sorry I couldn't make it last week. I had oral surgery and it got the best of me. So
I understand.
besides looking like a chipmunk, I just couldn't really talk.
I can dig it.
Well, you still have that great smile. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Where do we want to start with Kim? Because Houston's been making all kind of noise in the off season. The Rockets. Now we got an NFL training camp starting up. Astros are getting healthy.
Are they?
That's what I've been reading, prepping for you to come on.
Did you read that? Who's healthy? We don't know. I mean, Jordan's he was reevaluated today, and I'm like, we're 3 months in, and we're still trying to evaluate him. Pena, of course, had a fractured rib. Hopefully he gets back. Jake Myers had a calf injury. Who knows what that's going to be? They've got basically me, you, Tim, and Tree pitching. You know?
Good.
We're ready.
Well, Kim, this is the deal. You're talking about it like that, but if somebody would have told you at spring training, this is where the Astros would be,
right?
You'd be jumping up and down.
Listen, you got to give them credit. I think that they have overachieved in the first half of the season. They've in some nights fielded, pretty much a AAA team, and they've been successful. But that's not sustainable, right? It's a 162 game season, and so they've got to get some guys back healthy. You're right. For where they are now, they had a slide going into the break, and the thing is, when they come out of the break, they go to Seattle, a place they've had a hard time scoring runs, and Seattle trails them by 5 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just looking at that. How many games is this series? 3?
What's that?
It's a 3-game series.
The 3-game series. Okay. So that 5 games could be shrunk, and there's a lot of season left. So you got to give them credit. I say you got to give them credit. I give Dana Brown a lot of credit for being able to piece together a roster, kind of like a magician, the first half of the season. And for the most part, you got to give Joe Espada some credit for how he's managed them. But they got to get healthy because this is not sustainable long term.
But I want to go back to the front office, the first name you mentioned, because that
Dana Brown.
He is a brother, as a general manager for the Houston Astros.
Even though there are people that talk about him online, say he's a DEI hire, because any of us who are black who do anything, obviously DEI. Dana's done a really good job. I mean, Dana's why there's a Isaac Paredes in Houston, right? Dana's why that Cam Smith is, up. And if he continues to do what he's doing, you got to think about him as an AL Rookie of the Year. There's a lot of moves that Dana Brown has made, and he's building that farm system, which is what they really, really needed to get the pipeline back going. So he's been a great addition, and hopefully Jim Crane gives him time to really, really do some things.
Where did Dana come from, Kim?
Atlanta. I know you know where he came from.
Houston is 56-40, 5 games up on Seattle. Just came to town and swept my Tigers away. Going to All-Star. Hey, but talking about Magic, hey, Kim, tell me about AJ Hinch. I mean, what this guy's done with the Tigers is remarkable.
She started laughing.
So there's a lot of good things about AJ Hinch. I still blame him for the series, the when they lost in the World Series to the Nationals, because that whole analytics, he's really driven by that. And when he didn't make the pitching change in Game 7, I was like, you know what? If that had been Dusty or somebody else, we'd still be talking about it. But AJ Hinch does a lot of things really well. If he doesn't get too hung up on the analytics piece, they loves him here, of course. But I mean, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, they since about a week ago, the Tigers are 162, because at one point they were 13 games out of the play out of out of first place, maybe 10 out of the wild card, got the wild card, and now they're off to this great start this year. And yeah, he does a lot with that pitching staff.
Yes.
He'll run one of us out there and pitch a
Yes.
couple of innings. So it's worked so far. So hey.
Well, Kim, about AJ and him being exiled, pretty much. What is your feeling on that World Series?
Listen, it's wrong to cheat. Okay, let me say that first. But let me also say, you hear about the Astros all the time, and no one ever talks about Boston. Okay, I mean, I had a really good friend, very high up in baseball, who talked about how that was a problem around the league, and it's who do you want to make an example of? And let me be clear, I'm not justifying it for the Astros. They did was wrong. But clearly, as they show every time they go into Dodger Stadium and beat up on them really, really convincingly, that ain't why they won. So they are World Series champions to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got MLB done here. And we're definitely going to get to the book. I really want to talk to you about that. Because you are really one of the trailblazers in this business, being a woman and a woman of color, and I want to see how that has impacted. But before all that, the Rockets are trying to just take everything from the Hawks. Tim came on here 3 weeks ago, said they planning the parade in Atlanta after who did you guys sign? You're on mute, Tim.
Yeah, you're on mute because what you about to say is crazy. Come off mute. Come off mute.
No, I'm muted because I'm having a side conversation. Thank you.
Oh.
What's going on with the Rockets?
So, I don't know how much you know about the owner and Tillman Fertitta. Not a very patient man. And I'm not saying he should be patient at this point. I mean, he bought the team and then the bottom fell out, right? You went from being in the bubble, getting to the second round of the playoffs, which that year the whole thing was crazy too. Now you're a lottery team. Then they went into the, Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, for a couple seasons. And for those who thought, oh, him, that's not what he was doing. He had a few too many cocktails one night and reminded people that was exactly what he was doing. And so they didn't get Victor, but they did get Ime. And so what I'd like to say is a couple things. Ime is obviously a very good coach. I think that Steven Silas never had a chance to really coach. I don't think Steven Silas was trying to tank. I don't think he had autonomy, and he wasn't put in a position to win. So I don't know that Ime is that much better than Steven. We don't know how good Steven would have been. That's my opinion from what I saw. That they didn't give him anything to work with, and the general manager was at practice every day, but I won't go down that rabbit hole. So they got a really good coach, and then they brought in some people that can play. They brought in some veterans because what do you do with 1,000 draft picks? You get 1,000 young people. And how long can you have an average age of your team of like 21 and be any good? It doesn't work. And so they went out and got some veterans, and Ime immediately started to change the culture and make a difference. And now they've gone out and gotten KD, Kevin Durant, which I will tell you, a month before the trade, I was like, I wasn't really high on the move because I thought they'd have to give up a lot more, right? You got to give somebody up, right? But I thought they would have had to give up a lot more to get in Kevin Durant. So, a healthy Kevin Durant for most of the season is clearly an upgrade. He helped some things where they had some areas where they had problems. They had a spacing problem. He comes in, and with him immediately that problem goes away, him and then Dorian Finney. And then somebody who can finish and just can flat out score.
He can flat out score.
He can flat out score, right?
Watching some of this now. I mean, it's
He's playing both ends of the floor. That's the
36,
thing.
almost 37. He still is one of the most prolific scorers in the league.
Yeah. And
And
he
one
handles
of the
the
most
ball.
prolific tweeters as well.
What is
Well,
he,
yeah,
6'11"?
that's everybody got something, Tim. Everybody got something.
He's 6'11", and he handles the ball like a point guard.
As he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just one of the greatest scorers this game has ever seen.
So,
He
okay,
makes
so
everybody's
you
offense
put
better.
him up there with the West now with OKC and in Minnesota? Are you guys like right there in the mix now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's got to work, right? They've got to get into camp and, but absolutely, because, they just were, you really can't coach experience, right? And so Golden State had it, on paper, which is not where you win games. Houston's a better team. But when it came to playing, besides the fact that those of us who've covered this team for years have a little PTSD, Golden State just knew how to get it done. And you've got these guys, and listen, Jalen Green took a lot of criticism, and he's the first to tell you that he was not pleased with how he showed up or didn't perform. But it wasn't all on him, and I think people have to remember how young Jalen is, and that when he came into the league, he hadn't really played much basketball, right? He didn't go to college. He played in the G League. He didn't have an NBA body like Amen Thompson came into the league with. Amen came in as a man ready to play with men. Jalen is still trying to get there. And the first couple of years, he was under Stephen Silas, who, of course, I said earlier, really wasn't able to coach like he probably wanted to coach. And then he got with Ime. So 2 years with Ime, you saw some improvement, and he just wasn't there. But it wasn't all on him. They need somebody that can score. They don't have a lot of ball handlers, and all these people who talk about all these guards and who were not as excited about Fred VanVleet, who is a huge part of this team's success. They didn't have anybody that can handle the ball. Amen can't run the point. I'm sorry. I like him a lot. I think he's amazing. He's going to be a star in this league. But when you see them dribbling the balls off the feet, I mean, they just, and he can get better at that. But after Fred, there really wasn't anybody to really run the point. And when he wasn't there, they couldn't get organized. I mean, so I think this team, we saw them beat Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City, without a couple of their starters when Alfie was out, and I think maybe Fred was out. So now that wasn't a 7-game series, but my point is I think that they're not far. And I was initially hoping that they would do what OKC did, would continue to build with the youth, but it's not my money. So
They gave
listen,
Jabari Smith $122 million.
I think that was a good move.
So he's in their plans, right?
He's obviously in their plans. Yeah. I like Jabari Smith a lot. I mean, think about it. When you go back to the Golden State Warriors series, he's one of the young guys that didn't shrink. Right? I thought he should have had more minutes. I thought he performed, pretty well. I mean, and of all the great things you can say about Ime Udoka, he needs an offensive coordinator, somebody that can do that for him, because it's a little stuck. But I think they'll be fine.
He got an automatic offensive coordinator now with Kevin Durant.
Who reports out of a publication here in Houston say he had some sort of a procedure on his thumb, which I have not been able to confirm from the Rockets, but I doubt that they would have put the people who wrote the story would have put it out if they didn't know it to be the case. But the Rockets have not said anything. Supposedly it's not a big deal, but he underwent thumb surgery. But apparently the minor operation does not concern Rockets leadership.
Which
I bet concerns Rockets fans. Yeah, which thumb? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying, I've been trying to follow up to see if y'all have any kind of they haven't issued a statement or had any kind of comment about it. So I'll reach out again tomorrow and say, hey, what, did he have surgery or not? And perhaps I won't get an answer, but I at least have to ask.
Yeah.
Well, I want to briefly touch on your Texans, and I was listening to NFL Network, and I don't know why this dude started talking about the Texans because what I saw on my radio said NFC South outlook, and this dude started talking about what they were trying to say was collectively they said the NFC South is the worst division in all of football.
Is that what Atlanta plays in?
Yeah. But then the folks said, hold up now. It said, I think the most trash division is the AFC South. It said, it's Houston and everybody else. Houston's really good. Everybody else is garbage. And it said, I would bet you that is the worst conference. And you guys are going in there, head and shoulders above everybody else. It looks like you got 6 wins built in already this year.
Well, listen, those division games are always challenging, right? It is always challenging. You got a new quarterback in Tennessee from the Houston area.
Yeah.
And, you've got the all-world two-sided defensive back Heisman Trophy winner at the Jaguars. And then Indianapolis, I don't know
Anderson's back.
Anderson's back. So, I don't know that it's, as bad as the NFC South, but listen.
Those division games are tough. They're going to win them, but you can't go in there messing around, turn it over.
Right.
Well, see, it was just an argument on that because somebody else brought in later said, well, hey, don't sleep on the sorry AFC East. Because, forever it was New England had these built-in wins. Right. And now you have Buffalo having these built-in wins because the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots aren't what they are easy wins. So.
Yeah. Well, and then you mentioned Patriots. Wasn't there a little spark this week with Belichick and the owner? Yeah. Let it go.
I missed that. So what was the spark?
So I guess, and I don't know in what context that Kraft mentioned it was a risk when he hired Belichick, but that did not set well with Belichick. His little girlfriend probably said, don't let him talk about you like that.
I hadn't heard much from them lately, but yes, that was enough for him to come out.
It's just funny when I see them together. Those of us who've covered Bill Belichick over the years, it's just so like, how did the conversation even start?
How do you think that's going to go in North Carolina with him?
If he wins, I think it'll be fine. Winning, as long as you're winning, whatever. Date a 25-year-old. But didn't they say she has to stop coming to practice or whatever she was doing? She was everywhere.
She was everywhere. She was coming to the practice, and then they said
that's too much.
No, and then I think she also killed the HBO thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She killed that.
Yeah. Belichick, Kraft said he took a big risk hiring Belichick, and he was saying, I took a big risk. I could have been the coach of the New York Jets. So,
yeah.
Because he was hired as a Jets coach, right? Didn't he just turned it down?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. He'll be 73 this season, working in North Carolina with the Tar Heels.
Okay.
And I'm wondering.
I saw a clip of the Cleveland Browns defensive staff back in the day where you have Belichick and Saban going back and forth talking about defense. And they're like, how did that team ever lose?
Right. Right.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Well, Saban wasn't a great NFL coach.
Or no, when he was with the Dolphins, he was garbage. But once he left for Alabama, he's a legend. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and at LSU, he wanted LSU.
He was here. He coached at Michigan State.
Oh, that's right.
Here, won 9 and 10 games. After he won those 10 games, he was out, man. I'm getting out of here. But let's get to why we really had you on tonight. Let me see if I can find this up. What made this also a great writer become a great writer of books? My love language, sports. My love language is complicated. By Kim Y. Davis. Kim, talk to us what got you started to do this.
So really, probably my mother. I've always been a writer and a storyteller, and so for years, my mother and my best friend Zena are like, I don't know why you're not writing books. And so I was just forever and ever, I just never did. And so I finally said, okay, I'm gonna write this book. And one of my friends, I said, yeah, I'm gonna write a book. She goes, oh, I can't wait to hear some of the stories you have. And I said, oh, it's not about me. And she said, well what the heck is it about? We don't want to hear anything else. And people are always asking me about the journey and stories. And so I thought, okay, well, as you know, it's not that I'm shy, but as a journalist, kind of talking about yourself is not really what we do. We're not supposed to be the story. I know that's changing, but so I had to find a way to. I thought, well, how do I tell the story where it's authentic? Because that's all I can be, but it doesn't sound like I'm complaining because it's not been easy, and I chose this path, and I knew it wouldn't be easy. So I didn't want to seem like I was like whining about the things that haven't gone really well. And I also didn't want to be like, hey, and now more about me. Like, how do I write it to where maybe it benefits people? So once I figured that part out, I said, okay, I'll give people some lessons from the field. And really, it's not about you wanting to be a journalist or even wanting to work in sports. But I kind of sum it up and say, for anybody who has to navigate a space that wasn't designed for you, I think maybe you can get something from it. And no, that was the way that I approached telling the stories.
I love that. So how long did it take you to write this?
So once I decided that this was the book, because I've written it probably 10 times, like, oh no, that's not the book. And then you put it down, but probably about a little less than a month.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. I mean, I could write it. I just had to figure out what it was, and then be okay with writing it. Like, yeah, okay, this is a story, and then just do it.
Love that. So, what's the reception been of those who've read it?
So, so far it's been good. I think a lot of people have been like, oh, I want to support it, but people don't always read, right? But they may buy it and then read it. And I'm like, no. So I also wanted it to be short enough because I got a ton of stories. I couldn't tell them all because now people are just reading story after story. So I wanted it to be at least short enough where they could get through it and be like, oh, okay. And then you can just write another book about something else later. But I've had comments like this. One of my friends said, he called me and he said, hey, the book was actually good. I was like, thank you, I think. He's like,
I didn't think it would be, but it really is good.
Okay. He said, you actually told the story about the U of H people? Yeah, I did tell that story. You couldn't be, no. They
okay, so okay. That's not going to help you at U of H.
I'm good with it. I'm over it. I'm not trying to get. I'm not interested anymore. But there's just some things because there's a lot of stories I didn't tell. But there's just some things that you're not at this point in my life and my journey. You don't get to give me permission to do anything.
Well, that's the thing.
I would still be standing if that was my approach.
Are you singularly the person that doesn't get credentialed there at with the Cougs?
I'm one of them.
Is it largely Black press?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my question for you, as a woman of color, what have been the roadblocks you have obviously navigated throughout the course of your career?
So access, every time you show up, always having to prove that you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
There's some new sports information person or some new, and they don't feel like you should be in the room, and having to start over all the time, and that's just been part of it. I had a communication person from a team tell me once, so why do you need to go to the locker room? I was like, because that's where the interviews are done. I was kind of like confused about what is your question.
Yeah.
See, Kim, I was about to go there because I haven't been in a locker room in forever. But now it seems like they pull everybody out into an interview room. But I know.
Well, I think it depends on the team.
Okay.
Like they don't do that. Yeah, no, none of the teams. I mean, probably in college they do that, but on the pro teams they don't, because what they may do is, okay, say for instance with the Texans, all of your interviews are going to be in the locker room, except they're going to be you're going to get the quarterback at the podium one day a week, and back when JJ Watt played, you got JJ Watt. Okay, everybody else is going to be in the locker room. Yeah. The Astros, you're going to get everybody in the clubhouse, unless it's maybe a little bit before the game on the field, but pretty much you're going to get them in the clubhouse. And Rockets, you're going to get them on the practice court, or you're going to get them in the locker room.
Right. I asked this because I know I've been in locker rooms. I remember one of the games I covered in Tampa was in the Bears locker room, and I saw players deliberately drop their towels as a woman would walk by.
Yeah. Over the years, that's happened. I'm very trained to look, make eye contact with people. I'm really in there for that. And earlier in my career, because as you mature, you know how to not say things. I used to I've told players before, listen, I was here when you got here. I'll probably be here when you leave. I mean, it's just ridiculous, Of course, I don't do that anymore because I'm a grown-up, right? But for the most part, the players have been the least of the problem. There's always a couple, especially when they first come in the league, and they're maybe where they were in college, they didn't see women. That could be a case, but I've had more challenges with the people that like the communication people, like the guy from the tech from the Oilers,
PR teams,
PR people,
or colleagues who would say, "Man, I noticed you do a really good job of just looking at guys in their eyes." And I'm thinking, is that what you in here doing, watching me? Because I'm not watching you. What is that? Like, what is people are always watching you. And I tell people, Tim, like back when I started, when I covered the Oilers, we could be at practice the whole time, and there was no social media. There weren't any, cell phones. And if I was covering the Oilers practice and I needed to go to the restroom, somebody from the staff would have to walk with me into the locker room, and I'd have to go to the restroom because there were no facilities for media or separate for women, right? Yeah. That ain't fun, but what are you going to do? I mean, so it's evolved. And so when there are these new people that come in and they complain about a few things, or they just don't understand how it has evolved, as it should. Like, we should not have to go I should have to go into the Oilers, where the urinals are, and go to the bathroom. But if you're there for 3 or 4 hours, and you're outside and it's really hot and you're drinking water, there's a good chance you're going to have to at some point go to the bathroom. Right? Mm-hmm. So,
Kim, do you get into your experiences as a tennis athlete? And do your colleagues know you are a high-level college athlete?
I don't know that they do. I think I do tell the story of what the end of my playing tennis was with my injury to my ankle. Do you know that story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell that story, but I don't know that people know. And I guess I don't talk about it a lot because, I didn't get beyond college. I got injured and that was the end of it. So I'd be talking about what could have been, I guess, which seems like not really the thing to do.
But in the book, you don't get into it.
No, I just tell about when how I played at A&M, and then how I got injured and how that was the end. And then I started telling stories about people who were in sports, since I couldn't be a football player, and then I couldn't be a tennis player. So,
What No, go ahead. Go ahead, Trey. Go
No,
ahead.
do you already have an idea for your next book?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I have several in my head, and I have a couple documentaries in my head. But the ordeal that I went through last year with my condo and the whole person that wouldn't get out and the court system and that whole thing, that's my next book.
Oh,
One, because
say that's
I don't think I knew that story, but I have to read the book.
yeah, that one almost took me out. And I want to tell it not just to expose the evil woman, but really because it's the system that people don't understand. And the state of Texas, which is super conservative, that they have these laws
Oh,
that we
really?
have no idea about.
I didn't know that, Kim.
I mean, I spent 7 months in court trying to get my condo back from a person who wouldn't pay rent, had stopped paying rent, lease was up, wouldn't get out. And that whole ordeal cost me probably 30 grand.
Wow.
15 grand in just paying the mortgage and the bills and going to court. And then when she got out the way she trashed it, another 15 grand. I mean, I don't have that. I mean, I need to write that book so I can try to get my money back. But I want people to know, because people think, oh, real estate is great. It's passive income. And for me, it was never, I was like, I'm going to move out of my condo for a year and move in with my oldest sister to help her out a bit financially, because I couldn't take care of 2 households. Right. So I said, you know what? I'll come there for a year and then we'll figure it out. Because if I'd known I was going to sell my house, I would have sold it initially. Because I ended up having to sell it once I got it back to try to get out of the hole. But it is the laws that people don't know about, that in the state of Texas, when your lease ends, the tenant becomes what's called a holdover. It's in every Texas lease. It's something we never look at. I didn't know. Most people just get the hell out, right? But if they know this and they stay, then you've got to pay to put them out. So most people, it may take you 2 or 3 months to get them out, which is still annoying.
Yeah.
But if you rent to the devil like I did, who has spent 20 years doing this to people, right? Who knows the system, all of the tricks of the trade, and is what people will call, judgment proof, because they have nothing to lose. But it doesn't show up on the background check or credit report.
Right.
Right. She's no evictions. But when I went into the court system, because as I'm going through this, the journalist in me made me dig. And I'm like, she's been doing this to people for 20 years. And at the end, I had to settle with her. I didn't give her any money, although she tried to get me to give her money. But I had to drop the eviction to get her out, because I couldn't keep it up. I was paying mortgage and all the bills, and I couldn't risk losing, because I ran into a judge who was, tenant friendly and clueless about what her job is. So I'm going to be campaigning against her in 2026. But she shouldn't be on the bench, right? Know the law. And I couldn't risk losing and starting over again, because I couldn't afford it. So I had to deal with her.
Sounds like a movie.
No eviction.
It sounds like a movie.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey, where can people pick the book up?
You can get it from Amazon, and soon I'm going to put it on my website, because I have people like, I don't want to go to Amazon, which I get. So I'm going to make it available in the next few days. I'm going to add a link where you can get it from my website.
Sports, my love language is complicated. But yeah, we got some breaking news here. I want to get your thoughts on. First, let's go to the NBA. Damian Lillard is going back to Portland. 3 years, $42 million.
Wow.
Yeah. After he just got a nice little buyout from
Milwaukee,
from the Bucks.
Yeah.
Now, are they still going to pay him the next 5 years?
I don't know what the buyout entailed.
Right.
I don't know if it was a lump sum or how they're going to do it. They probably stretched it out, but
no, the Bucks. Here's what they did: they wage stretched the entirety of the 2 years, and the nearly 1.3 million left on his contract. So I think he's going to get $20 million a year from them for the next 4 or 5 years.
On top of making $14 million in Portland.
That's not a bad gig.
Not a bad payday. Yep.
And Oregon has no state income tax. So good on you, son.
Yeah, right. Good for you. If you can get it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him.
And Bradley Beal is going from
The Clippers.
To the
to
Clippers. That should be interesting.
from
The Suns.
the Suns. And
That was a failed experiment in and of itself. It had Beal, Durant, and
Chris Paul.
Booker. He's still there. He's been by him lonesome. Yeah. So, goodness. The West has always been interesting.
Lots of moving parts.
like the stretch provision is there. They're paying him 4 or 5 years of money in addition to what he's going to get from Portland. Good for Dame. Thanks for letting us know about that, Mike.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
There.
Yeah, good for him. You know, I hate to see players get. I mean, they just really ditched him. I don't know. Did you guys see the AI generated Twitter response that from Dame? It was really good in terms of, you know, how AI is able to. It was like him talking about how the Bucks had dumped him, how he laid everything on the line. He got injured, how they treated him. I mean, he just, until you realize at a point that it was AI, but it sounded like him. It looked like him.
It was deep fakes.
It was, yeah.
Speaking of that, what's
I
it
didn't
like?
see that.
What's it like covering sports now in this 24-hour Twitter age back compared to, as you mentioned, you covered the Oilers when, right, when they were the Oilers, right?
When they were the Oilers. You know what? It's very different, and you've got to find your, like, what is your place going to be? And mine isn't chasing breaking news, right? Because I can't keep up with that. You know, I get some because I do have some relationships, but that's not me. I mean, you know, I'm an analyst. I do great interviews, right? I can break stuff down, but every little thing that happens, I'm just not chasing it because I don't have the resources. And so there are guys who live for that in terms of guys, and I mean men or women, whether they are, you know, constantly on with agents, you know, they have the resources from their organizations to, you know, it takes a lot to do all of it. And I, quite frankly, other than information beyond that, I think some of it, I don't know how much the general audience cares about it. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we do things in the industry that other people in the industry are much more impressed with than the audience. And so my thing is, who's your audience? Who's my audience? And my audience is mostly men, but I have a lot more women than most people that do what I do. And they want something, they want it to make sense to them. They want to be told the things that really matter. They want to know some stories about the people. Or so I saw this game, but tell me again what happened without just beating them over the head with lots of stats and figures. They still want stories.
And they want some perspective on it, which you do an outstanding job on. One other breaking news item, University of Memphis basketball program has just been placed on 2-year probation.
Penny.
Academic advisors working for the team. I mean, this whole thing with NIL is just...
it's the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
It really is. And, you know, yesterday it was SWAC Media Day, Football Media Day. And so I was a part of that. And the commissioner, Dr. McClellan, who, of course, was the AD at TSU before he went there, was talking about the SWAC app that they finally are launching and SWAC TV. And just, why are you shaking your head, Tim?
I'm confusing the SWAC with the SIAC. I'm sorry.
I say
I was like, yeah, app, all right.
But just all of the things that they can do that they'll be able to do with SWAC TV and how it's going to work with HBCU Go and also ESPNU, how they're going to work together. So it, you know, so that people can, you know, you can always watch your teams, no matter, because some teams get more coverage and they're shown on other platforms. So he talked about it, and he talked about just a lot of stuff in the future, what they're going to be able to do in terms of not just programming to get games live, but just stories from the different campuses and being able to highlight some of the things at HBCUs and tell the stories that otherwise sometimes don't have any place to land. Now, the HBCUs are going to have to do a much better job of helping to curate those stories.
That was
But
what I
I'm
was going
just
to come to next.
Yes.
What are the SIDs like in the SWAC right now? Don't
You
be scared.
know,
Do they have any?
they're not real strong. I mean, I hate to say it, with the guy at FAMU, I think he's a white guy. Not that makes, but here's what I do. I know the coaches. And so I'm on the phone with them and say, hey, when are y'all practicing? When are you doing? Because I can't just sit and wait if I'm going to cover TSU and Prairie View, which I don't cover as much, but TSU I cover a lot. If I'm committed to saying I've got to make sure that that's a part of, what I do, then I've got to do more work to cover them. So I can call Chris Dishman or text him, or Johnny Jones, or text him and say, hey, what's going on? When are y'all practicing? What's coming up? But they don't. I don't want to rag on that.
That's news to me. You just said Chris Dishman. He's a head coach.
He's a head coach of Texas Southern University. He's going into his second season.
Yeah.
He's former DB for the Diddley departed Houston Oilers. Outstanding NFL player.
And he coached in college. He coached in the XFL, and I'm telling you, Chris has been. They were 4-5 last year. They won their last 2 games of the season, which apparently in many, many years TSU has not won the last 2 games of the season. But he's like, that's not a milestone. We supposed to win a SWAC. I mean, but one of the things I can tell you about him and from covering him, he is so committed to those young men. Like, in terms of, he's like, they got to have nutrition. And so they can't eat like the other kids on the weekend. So he goes in his pocket. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't want to get in trouble. He's not like giving them money, but to make sure that they have the proper nutrition, to make sure that they're doing community service. That's a part of it. If you come there, you got community service. It's part of what they do. Sometimes they go to church together, but community service, they all have to do that. And so it's a culture shift. And it was interesting because the last home game of the season, we were doing post game. We brought in a couple of the players, to the interview room, and unbeknownst to him, one of them, really each one of them talked about how they love playing for him. He changed the culture, and they believe they can win, and that just hadn't been the case before, And so seeing the difference that he's trying to make in young men's lives, I think is exciting. So I've got a chance to see that, up close.
I guess on that level it works because I think this week I saw with Teddy Bridgewater, high school coach down there in Florida, went in his pocket.
A volunteer coach. They're talking about, how you gonna suspend a volunteer coach? He don't even work for y'all.
Right.
Volunteer coach suspended for going in his pocket, providing Uber rides for his kids to get back and forth to practice, and those type of things. And it's like,
dude,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're not going to help him. Somebody else tries to help him, right? And then they're like, no, you can't help.
Tim, I just thought about you probably knew my friend Bill Thomas, former coach and athletic director.
Yeah.
Bill worked at both TSUs. I covered him when he was at Tennessee State in Nashville. And, of course, he left there after many, many years as coach and AD. And
right now, Bill Thomas would probably be in jail for coaching how he coached back in the day. Because I'll never forget that game, Rick. His quarterback was having a very bad game, and Coach Thomas grabbed the kid by his face mask and was shaking his head as he was talking to him.
Back in the day.
Yes.
Nicest guy you ever want to meet until you get between those lines, man.
That clip right there would live forever on somebody's television. that they were able to televise that game. But the kid played a great second half.
I'm sure he did.
Surprise him.
But you recalling that story, that's the great thing about the business that we were in. All these lists, you probably got another 1,000 of those stories. And Kim, I'm glad you're sharing some of yours in your book. And we wish you much success with it.
I appreciate it. I had a text today from my former general manager from when I worked at the NBC station here in Houston. He sent me a picture. First of all, he let his hair grow out. I'm like, what are you doing? Larry Blackerby. He and I worked with him for almost 6 years, maybe 5 years. And then he left and this other crazy GM came in. And that's what I decided. I should be in business for myself. But we've kept in touch. And he sent me a picture today. He lives out in California and said, look what came today. And he was holding the book. Because I'm so proud of you. And I thought, you know what? That's so cool. So the people who have, like the Rockets PR staff came and the Texans PR cap. When I had my initial book launch, the Texans PR staff came, in addition to some of my colleagues. And so that was really, cool to see one of my friends from the Astros, not the Astros PR staff, but, that was really cool to see. And when people, oh man, I'm so proud of you. And it feels kind of weird. People that your colleagues will say that to you, or you're like, okay. I mean, I'm grateful about it, but you just never know how something you may do or have done or can do will impact somebody else. So it's been pretty cool. So I'm happy to come to Atlanta for a book signing if y'all can get some people together.
Hey,
a book event,
We'll get you here in the Motor City too.
I thought about it, Ricky. I was making some of my plans for Texans. So I'm going to camp. They're going to Greenbrier, West Virginia. And let me just tell y'all this. So I'm obviously not staying at the Greenbrier. So I called a Fairfield Inn in West Virginia to say, none of us are, and to say, because I couldn't get a rental car. And I said, well, about how far is it for an Uber ride from the hotel to the Greenbrier? And the lady said, yeah, we don't really have Uber here. I said, in the whole town? We said, we have one Uber driver and he doesn't always work. I said, well, how do people get around? She says, well, we do have a shuttle from the hotel if you can book it, or if you make a reservation, you can get a cab ride. I was like, I'm so glad I didn't try to do an Airbnb without a car. Well, I wouldn't do an Airbnb in West Virginia without a car. I didn't want to be out on the property, right. No car, and something come up and I can't get away. So
the one Uber driver also is the chief of police and the school principal.
Wait, do the Texans come here?
The Texans do come there, and they come for a practice, and they have a preseason game. But I can't spend 4 days in Detroit, and I just
you're more than welcome to come stay with us, Kim. When you're here, just let me know.
I'll let you know. I was looking at the schedule today, going, now I'm not making that trip because they travel one day, they have practice, then they travel. I said, you only get really 1 day of practice because who really cares about preseason? I go to the home games, but.
But they're scrimmaging with the Lions here.
Yeah, they play a preseason game and they have a practice with the Lions as well. Cool. Yeah.
Those things never work out well.
They don't.
They're always fights. They fight. Anytime you work out with another team, there's going to be fights.
It's going to be a fight because you're just so glad to be with somebody else because by that point, you're fighting each other, okay? Right. And now you can fight the other team. So.
Hey, we got to get out of here. And Kim, that offer does stand. Love that.
I appreciate that. I'll let you know.
Okay. If you get a chance, it's one of these episodes of the Netflix Quarterback with Kirk Cousins. Tim's not going to watch it.
They've already. The cat is out the bag on Kirk. The great teammate that he is.
Anyway, it's featuring Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, and Joe Burrow. But and I hadn't seen all of it. Around here, they played the golf clips. Yeah. And they played the Green Bay game. I'll tell the story real quick. The fourth quarter drive is 31-31. The Lions have the ball. The fourth down, everybody thought they were going to kick it. And Goff almost trips when he hands off to but they got Goff and Campbell mic'd up during the timeout leading up to the play. So he's going about Campbell, yeah, we're kicking it. Then he goes, F it, we're going for it. And then he says, I know this ain't the right call, but we're going to do it anyway. And go, effing yeah, let's go for it. You'll see it if you ever check out.
I'll check it out.
It is, I guess it's great to watch that now since they got the first down. And didn't get stopped and maybe probably lost the game in OT. But look, we got to get out of here. Kim, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you guys always for being so kind and having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. All right, be kind, everybody.
Tree McDougal, Tim Turner, I'm Rick Hampton.
All right, see you guys.
See y'all.